Hey y'all, we are in the kitchen today dealing with this mess of eggs that I have here. It has been snowy and rainy and just muddy and icy for the past couple weeks. So my birds have had to stay cooped up because we do have a hawk in the area that likes to come during the middle of the day. So they don't usually get out until late afternoon if I'm out there with them for like an hour, half hour before time to go up, so that I can make sure they are not victims of a predator. And so they have been going in their coop to lay eggs, and they're pretty dirty. Even with fresh bedding and stuff, they're just tracking in mud from outside and fighting over nests, and if you get broke and then you get yolk on them and then everything sticks to them. So I have some that are pretty bad. I mean, a lot of them are nice and clean from fresh bedding, but then you just have a few that are just, you know, kind of gross. So I am not currently selling a lot of eggs just because market is closed. That's where I tend to sell the most, is at the market every week. So I have a few clients who will come by the house, or, you know, like neighbors and stuff like that. So I have an order for 4 dozen. So I'm gonna get the cleanest ones packaged up and set to the side for clients, and then go ahead and wash up a lot of these dirty ones and get them in the refrigerator, and also process some in different ways. So this is gonna be a several day project, just because I'm gonna do some here and there, but processing some of the older ones that are already in the freezer or refrigerator to get them ready for the freezer, making breakfast muffins, among other things. So, and I'll just make one video that is a compilation of, you know, how to deal with eggs if you have chickens and they are laying abundantly. And so we're gonna put this on fast forward and power through these eggs really quick, and then get on to the good stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to make some egg and cheese, I guess you'd say square or circles, things that will, I can cut out on and freeze, and then we can just take them out, heat them up, and put them on bread or bagels or something to make a sandwich with. I would normally want to do this and go ahead and add some like meat into it, like sausage or bacon, but I did not thaw any sausage out and I don't have any bacon, so I'm just going to do the egg and cheese. And then what I may do later is get some sausage and make patties and freeze them separately, and then you can just kind of build your own, or we can make quick weekend breakfasts doing that way. So I am going to take a sheet pan, and I am just going to mix up some scrambled eggs in a bowl, pour it in the sheet pan and bake it, and then cut it, flash freeze it, and then take it out of the pan once it's frozen. Make sure it's all cut apart into squares, and then stick it in bags in the freezer. So let's get to it. So here is my sheet pan. It is already greased, and I did cover it in tin foil because I am trying to cut down on my cleanup because I have a lot of stuff to do. So when I can, I know it's not the most environmentally friendly, but I do try to save myself when I've got a lot of projects going on. So this is the last of my older eggs that were in the refrigerator. So we are gonna start with those and crack them into a bowl. And you will notice when I'm doing all these projects, I do have a container here, and this is what I throw bad cracked eggs, not bad eggs, but like when I was going through them to clean them, if I found one that had a small crack or something, I don't want to use that egg because I don't know how long it's been cracked, if there's any bacteria in it. And then eggshells, I just put them all in here, and I will show you what we're going to do with those later. I'm not going to fast forward this one just because I'm only doing a few, and I'm going to see how far this goes. And then if I need to do more to fill up the sheet pan, which I'm pretty sure I'll need to, then I will fast forward that section. But this is going to be super quick and super simple. This is a way to use a lot of eggs, do some bulk freezer meals. So I am just going to do this like I would if I was making scrambled eggs. And again, I'm going to keep it super simple because we don't know what kind of bagels or bread or meat we might be putting this with. All right, that's it. All right, so that, I don't even remember how many eggs that was, but we definitely need more. So let's get to doing that. Okay, so here's what we are going to do with the shells. While the sheet pan full of eggs is baking, I have another one here, and I'm going to take all of these eggs and all, and I'm going to put them on the bottom rack. Yeah, that one was starting to go bad. And we're going to let these bake. We'll be back. All right, so our pan is out of the oven, and you can see it's cooked all the way through. So what I'm going to do before I freeze it, I am just going to kind of go through and go ahead and cut it. And you could use a knife for this. I thought this might be easy. And you could do this in different ways. You could actually use like a biscuit thing and punch holes out. That way, if you wanted to put them on biscuits, they would be the right size. This I'm kind of doing in between like a loaf bread and a bagel size, because that's most likely what we would be using it for. But you could cut it out. I mean, you could cut it out in shapes. You could cut for, you know, kids' lunches. However you want to do it. But I'm thinking how we will use it is a mixture between biscuits, loaf bread, and bagels. And I'm hoping that by cutting it first, it'll be easier. After I freeze it, I can turn it out, and if they've kind of frozen together a little bit, I can follow the lines with the knife and cut it apart much easier. So now I'm just going to put this in the freezer and flash freeze it. All right, so these are not all the way frozen, but I think they are frozen enough that we can get them in the freezer and finish this project up. So we're just going to go ahead scrambled egg squares for Sammy's. All right, and I'll just make sure that I keep them flat, and we'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, they're starting to ice on the bottom, so that's perfect. All right, get a fork.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to scramble it just a little bit. Like
So
that.
Mix it, basically.
Yeah, and then dump it in 110. All right. Okay, let me get another one of those so we can just switch.
Yuck. Yolk is on me. Yeah. Yolk is on me. Yeah. Yolk is on me.
Switch. I made the mistake of leaving these in the water to cool, and I don't usually do that. I usually run them under cold water and then pill them immediately. And I got sidetracked, and so they are waterlogged, so they're not peeling good. So tip on that, peel them immediately while they're still warm but not hot, and they will peel much better. But if you leave them and they take in all that water, it like dissolves the egg white some, and then they don't peel as smoothly. So these are now frozen little egg pucks. So each one is an egg. So if I'm out of eggs at any point during the year, I can cook with these. You can do them in ice trays too, which will come out, or the silicone pans. I just don't have any. It's on my list of things to get, but I just don't have it. So this works, but so I will actually do this a couple more times and have a dozen eggs in each bag. And that will keep some of my eggs from going bad because now they're frozen. And if I have a break in eggs, or during the summer when I start doing market, if I want to sell a lot of eggs, I can use these. So that will get me through if I have a big market week and I don't have any eggs of my own or that I want to use for my own. This is a great way to preserve eggs if you have a ton of them and you need something quick and easy to do so they don't go bad, or, you know, just to make sure you have some through the year when you may not have so many and you don't have a freeze dryer. And I have some water glassed as well, but I don't want too many water glass because I haven't used them. So this will be a better long-term solution, I think. So now I'm going to work on some mini quiche frittata type things. It's basically where I just mix the eggs with whatever I have, meat, veggies, cheese, maybe nothing at all, just scrambled eggs. And I do them in the muffin tins just like I did the raw frozen eggs, except I bake them before I freeze them. And so then all you have to do is pull them out of the freezer, pop them in the microwave, and they're ready to go for quick breakfast sandwiches or meals on the go. So that's a good way to use up eggs and do freezer meals for breakfasts. So let's do some bulk cooking with the eggs right now and use up the rest of these older eggs so we can get more of these washed and in the refrigerator because I am still drowning in eggs. Let's get started. So first I am going to grate up some cheese, and this is some fresh Parmesan that I've had, oh gosh, for a couple weeks now, I think, and I really need to use it because I know the fresh does not last as long as the other. So we're just gonna go ahead and do this whole thing up. I think I'm going to need another plate. The only reason why I'm using paper right now is because I've gotten a little behind on my dishes cooking soups and stews for everyone this week. So I've got the dishwasher going now, and I've got a sink full that are soaking. So I'm just trying to alleviate a little bit of dishes until I can catch up. Just for my own sanity. While I am doing this cheese, I also have some of my turkey sausage cooking on the stove. I thawed out about a pound a few days ago just for this project, and I will link the recipe right here to the turkey sausage. Okay, so this is done, and now we're going to start prepping our eggs. So these are my chicken eggs. They've been in the refrigerator for a couple weeks. So I'm going to use this whole thing, but I am going to do them individually in just in case one has gone bad. And you should do that anyway. I've had a fresh egg out of the coop be bad. And I'm going to save my eggshells. And let's fast forward this. Okay, so now I have my cheese. Let's see if I can get a little bit better view. My cheese, my eggs. I have a salad spinner with the last of the arugula from my garden. And I also have the sausage and some caramelized dehydrated onions that I did. And that's just to make things easier for me. So we'll get that ready. And we have the sausage here. I'm going to scoot all of this back because these are all my ingredients that I'm going to use. And I have prepared pans. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little milk to my eggs. And I actually have some Bisquick in the pantry that needs to be used. And I can make pancakes with this. But what I thought I would do is just add a little bit to the eggs. And I'm going to add some salt. And some pepper. I don't need to add a ton to all of it. I'm going to add just a dash of garlic powder and maybe a little parsley. I don't know, I wasn't open yet. I used a lot of my parsley when I made the sage sausage. I think this is my last one. So that is definitely something that is going on my to-grow list this year. And let's see if I can do this with a fork. I may need to get the whisk out. I think I just splashed some of my coffee. All right. Yeah, the whisk is better, especially with that pancake batter in there. It's a little lumpy. I'm just going to work it a little bit. You could probably put it in the blender. But I am not too worried about it. All right. So now I'm going to put some sausage in here. And I think I'm gonna put some arugula in a couple of them. And maybe some dehydrated onion. And some cheese. And you could put a biscuit or a crust on the bottom of these, but since we will probably use them with either by themselves or on some fresh baked bread or something like that, I didn't want to do that. All right, so now we're going to pour on our mixture. And this may bubble over a little bit, so I'll probably put a pan underneath it. And you want to move it around though, get some of those air bubbles out and let it settle. Alright, ready for the next one. So I ended up using 18 eggs for the first, actually no, I'm sorry, 24 eggs for the first batch, and then I had to mix up some more because I ran out, and I used almost 9. I had a little bit left over, so I may save that. I have a small 6 muffin tin, and I may just throw it in there with some cheese and call it a day. But I've got them in the oven now for about 20 minutes, and we'll see what they look like when they come out. So it is almost dark, so I have to go put the chickens up and feed them. So this is kind of the last part to our egg extravaganza. And these are the egg shells and eggs that we baked off. So I am just gonna, actually I'm gonna peel this up to make it easier. Well, apparently some went through somewhere because now they're all stuck. There it goes. All right, so you can see where it kind of leaked through. Usually that works a little bit better. Alright, so my daughter's going to come in here and pound these up. Alright, gotta hurry, it's getting dark. Break them all up. Got my basket to collect more eggs. Alright, you done?
I like to make some.
Alright, well it's getting really dark. I gotta go put chickens up. Alright, thank you, baby. You did a good job. Alright, so a lot of people will just take the eggs directly out to them raw, but my great aunt always told us that you cook them off and then crunch them up and mix them into their feed so that they're not really recognizable as eggs, so that you don't create egg eaters out of your chickens. So I don't know if it's true or an old wives' tale, because I had some egg eaters and I had not, or a egg eater, and I had not fed them any eggs. She was young and she just automatically started doing it. So we got rid of her. She went to the chicken farm in the sky. So I don't know if it's true, but it's just something that we've always done in our family. We've never fed them back to them raw. So I just always bake them when I'm baking something else and chop them up. You can put them in the food processor. Another thing you can do is, if you do them in the food processor, you can put them in your garden, and that is very helpful with like calcium and stuff like that. But some people say it takes them so long to break down, it's not as helpful. So it really just depends on your train of thought on that matter. But I say it's either or, but I think that's a good amount of chicken feed and it adds calcium back to them. So I just feed them back to the chickens. Okay, so our little egg project is finally done. It took me a couple days to actually get through everything, but earlier I had gotten all of the eggs put away, washed, dealt with, all of our egg projects finished. So we boiled eggs to keep in the freezer, or the refrigerator, excuse me. We boiled eggs to keep in the refrigerator for snacks and for some egg salad, things like that. We used up all the older eggs that were in the refrigerator. We washed all the dirty eggs and replace them into the refrigerator so they will last longer. We packaged up some to send to my neighbor, and we also made the frozen eggs in the muffin tins to store in the freezer to use for scrambled eggs and baking and things like that. We made the big tray of scrambled eggs for sandwiches and bagels and things like that. And then we also made the little mini quiche breakfast muffin frittata, whatever you want to call it, which the kids love. So we did all of that and got down to only a basket of duck eggs that I need to do stuff with, which I will bake with those. And then I went to the coop tonight to put the chickens up and got 16 more eggs. So now we're and that doesn't include the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 dozen that we washed and put in the refrigerator. So this is an ongoing thing that I will probably do every other week, just to catch up on eggs until market starts and I can start selling them again. So anyway, that is all for the eggs. Thank you for joining me. I hope you learned a little bit. If you have any comments or any wisdom to give to me, throw it my way. I have had chickens forever, but I find that every year I learn something new. So I am always open to new recipes, new ways of handling things, new things about chickens. So I'm gonna get back to making dinner and get this broth out of the canner that I just finished and get on with things because it is getting late. So we'll see you in the next video. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment and hit the like button too if you don't mind. It helps with the algorithms, and I really appreciate you making it this far and watching this video. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.